Today's session had me really aware of my feet. Yesterday, after spending the evening, in London, I came home and I found that my feet were really tired. They were exhausted. Now, it's been, I want to say, a couple of weeks. Yeah, it's been about a couple of weeks since I've been wearing my barefoot shoes, and since getting them, they're all I've worn. Personally, I used to train barefoot all the time anyway. I was always in socks, or I was always completely barefoot if I was working on a wooden platform. So my feet had a base level of strength, you could say, prior to really jumping into that barefoot shoe lifestyle, or just that barefoot lifestyle, if you want to call it that. And whilst the first day or two was quite tough because I ended up being on my feet a lot, I ended up doing a lot. I was in London again and I was super busy. So I found myself on my feet constantly for a couple of days, and my feet took a beating. And my knees were struggling a little bit as well because I was adapting to how to walk in them and learning how to walk in them. Because, believe it or not, spending 25 years in shoes with fat soles, shoes with thinner soles, shoes with all kinds of shaped soles, you quickly realize when going barefoot that, we've forgotten how to fucking walk. And you really do. You forget how to walk. You forget how to keep your feet underneath you and keep your skeleton stacked upon itself. Because of the amount of time we spend extending our stride as far as possible in order to walk faster and whatnot, especially living in the city. Anybody who lives in the city knows how just go city life is. So we don't learn the art of walking with our feet underneath us. And combine that with all the treadmill work that I've been doing recently. My feet have had the odd day. So first couple days were quite tough. And then my load eased up and went back to a state of normal, a state of equilibrium, you could say, where it was just dog walks and gym. And then yesterday was another intense day in terms of workload on my feet, because again, it was dog walks, gym, and I was in the city, I was in London. And today I felt it, and I felt somewhat fatigued. Today was a rare day where my mind was raring to go, but my body was gently fatigued. It wasn't fatigued. And with what I've been learning about fatigue in this Matt Perryman book, I always like to question myself. Whenever I think I'm physically fatigued, I always like to take a step back and be like, are you really? But no, today, I could feel on that first 10-minute run on the treadmill that, my body is going to take some lubricating today in order to get in the groove. Because those first 5 minutes were uncomfortable. No matter how much I focused on my technique, no matter how much I stacked my skeleton on top of itself, it wasn't a very comfortable 5 minutes. As I got warm and approached the 7-minute mark, I was like, things are loosening up now. Things are feeling better. But it still wasn't free. It wasn't fluid. My body didn't feel free. It felt like it worked yesterday, which it had, relative to what it usually does. So as I was deadlifting, I found myself almost being forced to be really connected to my feet. Now, setting my feet in both squats and deadlifts is something that I place a lot of emphasis on. am very conscious and very aware of how I'm setting my feet, where I'm setting my feet. And it's my first cue. Engaging my feet is my first cue, and has been since I decided to train barefoot. And today, for the first time ever, deadlifting in particular, my left foot was lit the fuck up. It was lit, like, it had more of a pump than my lower back. My left foot had more of a pump than my lower back today during my deadlifts. It was around my 120, maybe 140 kilo lift. Between those two was when it started to really rear its head. And I was like, shit, my feet are working, or have been working, and my left foot is pumped to fuck right now. And it was a really weird feeling. As a little caveat, the only reason it was pumped more than my lower back today was because for the first time in a little while, or the first time since getting back into deadlifting, I really activated my glutes today, and I was able to really engage them and get a good mind-body connection with them. So I felt like my glutes did a lot of work, or a lot more work, than they have been doing in recent deadlift sessions. However, I felt quite weak today. I did feel quite weak today, and I think that aligns with my feet being tired. My feet were taxed, my feet were fatigued, hence them pumping so quickly. So it made me think about the importance of our feet, really, and it's something that I've been thinking about for a long time. And just being in the city yesterday, in the moments that I was alone, both prior and after meeting friends, I was looking around a lot at like people's footwear and observing the way they walked and how they balanced and shit like that. And it's crazy, like it really is crazy to me how undervalued our connection is to the earth. Like our feet are what connects us to the earth. Like if I'm not mistaken, in the Jewish religion, they wear the kippah on the highest point in their head because it's their closest point to God. However, I feel like, I feel like in the same breath, like a lot of people forget like how important the earth is to us. In the same way, whatever God we may believe in is, the earth is important, and the way we connect to it is just as important. And I feel like as human beings, in the way society has developed, like we've forgotten that. Like when was the last time you walked in a field barefoot? Like literally with your socks off? You probably haven't done it since you were a kid. And that's kind of sad. Like when you actually think about it, that's kind of sad. Like the last time you took your feet off, you took your socks and shoes off and connected with the earth was probably when you went on holiday and you was at the beach. Like, that's not good enough, man. Like this is our motherland. This is our planet. You know what I mean? This is the thing that gives us life in conjunction with the sun. And we have to reconnect to that, and our feet are our connection to that. And I've been really enjoying this barefoot experience, to the point where I've ordered another pair of shoes because I want to separate my hiking shoes from my gym shoes. So I've got a pair for the gym now as well. But yeah, man, just it's food for thought. It's not even like something that I believe that everybody should do and like it's just food for thought to me. Like think about your feet. Take care of them. Like be aware of them. Like when was the last time you even thought about your feet? I'm gonna start asking people that. When was the last time you thought about your feet? How were your feet? How did you find walking? Did you ever experience any discomfort? What do your feet look like? Does your big toe point in? Does it point out? And it's crazy because when was it? Yeah, the last time I was in London a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, it was when I just started wearing my barefoot shoes, and I was spending some time in London, and I was spending some time in the sauna there. And I caught myself just observing people's feet. and just being aware of how many people have bunions, and then that rare person whose whose toes looked well spread out and aligned. I was like, fair play. Like, at the very least, you've worn shoes that fit you well your whole life, because that's one thing I definitely haven't. However, I got kind of lucky. My feet were quite resilient and aren't too compressed. But yeah, food for thought. Think about your feet, no neglect. Just take care of them. Do something from time to time to look after them, because they're important. They're the only thing standing between us and the earth. They're the only thing connecting us to the earth. Unless you're good at handstands, in which case your hands can too. But if you made it this far, thank you very much, and I shall see you tomorrow.